Check. 1 2 1 2. I am sounding real good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Therapy Ain't No Joke. I am your host, Sean Garvey. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thank you for your patience as I work out some of the things happening in the background behind the scenes. Therapy Ain't No Joke. If you are new to the program, this is the show in which we talk about all things considered mental health in the community. We got a lot to unpack on tonight's program. If you are checking us out live, we are live streaming by way of YouTube at Reach One Network. Like, share, and subscribe. Become a member on our YouTube channel at Reach One Network. Like, share, and subscribe, like I said. And also, we are coming to you live. Well, I'm coming to you live on my Instagram at Sean Garvey ATL. You can follow me there. We have all the additional information in the ticker at the bottom of the screen there. And we also are live on Facebook at Sean Garvey. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Rasta, a.k.a. Mr. Goodman. Greetings. How you doing?
What's going on, beloved? Everything is well. Doing everything I can to elevate, keep my mental health in a great space to the best of my ability. Looking forward to this wonderful episode of Therapy Ain't No Joke once again. Bringing information, education, and the empowerment to us all so that we can all develop some type of greater space of mental health.
Indeed. We always have to, of course, manage our mental health, our mental well-being. So we're making it a point to do shows, to do episodes like the one that we're doing tonight to raise the awareness and to talk about not only what's happening in our community, but also provide solutions and information. And for all of our new viewers out there tuning in and watching, I know you've been on with me for a few of the episodes that we've done live. For anybody that's new to the program, in the interest of time, you are a certified forensic specialist, peer mentor. You have a long title, and I sometimes mess it up, but for clarity purposes, let the people know your exact title in the mental health arena.
Certified peer specialist in mental health. That is my certification. I'm also certified as a forensic peer mentor, working on becoming even greater as I strengthen my mental health as well.
There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a certified person from the mental health arena on the show. You know, I'm a mental health advocate, and I like to give this disclaimer to people out there watching and listening that I am not a mental health therapist. I am not a licensed psychiatrist, therapist, life coach, etc., etc. We do have a certified peer specialist on the line with us. So anybody that are seeking advice or information or what have you, don't only just tune in, but make sure you consult and contact your local therapist and other certified services to give you access to the mental health treatment that you and your needs. Okay, you can do that after the show, and of course, towards the end of the show, we like to give people information on how to do that. Sounds good? All right, let's do it. Tonight's topic, if we can get it up on the screen here, a controversial one, Rasta, of course. I've seen the comments so far over the past few days, and let me remind people that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We are only days away until Men's Health Month, and we're going to be doing a series on Black men conversations, by the way. So we'll fill you in towards the end of the program on more particulars about that. But yes, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So please, everybody, take heed of that. Take heed of that. And keep in mind that it's not just only May, 365 days. We want to continue to raise the awareness of mental health because it's important. It's important in our everyday lives, in our personal lives, in our careers, et cetera, et cetera. but it is 365 days a year, not just only 1 month out of a year, but 365 days a year. All right, so our special guest, without further ado, in the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to do this, Rasta. I want to bring a good brother of mine, and he has been on the show, The Mental Space. Of course, we had to rebrand the name from The Mental Space to what is now known as Therapy Ain't No Joke. And I want to bring him on first, and then we're going to bring this young lady on who is sitting in the green room. I appreciate your patience, by the way. But I got to bring this brother on because he has a testimonial story. We're not going to get into too much of his testimonial story in the interest of time, maybe on the next episode of Therapy Ain't No Joke. But he had a strong testimony that he shared with our listeners at the time when I was at WAOK doing The Mental Space. And I had an opportunity to reconnect with him and rebuild with him. So we have on the live line, Lightworker Wayne joining with us.
Hey, greetings, everybody. Hey, greetings to the fellow certified peer specialist, man. Hey,
what's going on, brother? How you?
I see we up in here, man.
Indeed.
Indeed, brother. Indeed. Greetings to you too, of course, as well, Sean Garvey. Hey, thanks for putting this together.
Hey, we had to make it happen. I appreciate you, Lightworker Wayne. I'm gonna come back to you, but I also want to bring on our very first guest ever on Therapy Ain't No Joke, and I want to give her some time to come on the screen with us and not only be a part of this important conversation that we're getting ready to have in just a few moments, but I want to introduce her and bring her on so she can let everybody that's tuning in and watching us know who she is. Randy G, by the way, we have Randy G in the house. Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hello, how are you?
Greetings.
Welcome to Therapy Ain't No Joke. We want to make sure you can hear us, correct? I think you said in the chat there was some feedback that you was getting. Do you still hear the feedback?
I took care of it.
Okay, you took care of it. Okay, this is, anything can happen. This is live streaming, but we really appreciate it. I got to ask you, and then we'll come back to Lightworker Wayne in just a few moments. I got to ask you, Randy, like I ask everybody, especially when I was on the mental space, how is your mental health?
Oh, my mental health is well. I mean, I definitely balance it, with the word of, the Bible. And I just think that if more people read the Bible when they're stressed out, it's a great calmer. But I do know a lot of people with mental health illnesses.
Good. Well, we really appreciate you for being a part of what is going to be tonight's conversation. And if you want to let the people know a little bit about yourself, your background, you're more than welcome to do so.
Okay, so I am a recruiter by trade, HR, and I have been working in HR for many, many years. So I deal with a lot of people with a lot of mental health illnesses. It's ongoing. You actually are a therapist when you're a recruiter because you have to encourage the person to take the job, to keep the job, to stay on the job, and then you're dealing with management who are not happy with the people you brought on the job, and then you're dealing with your peers. So I deal with people all the time, and whenever you're dealing with people, you're dealing with issues.
Yeah. And we have a certified, like I said, we have Rasta here with us. And Rasta, before we go back to Lightworker Wayne and to tonight's conversation, anything you want to add or anything you want to ask Randy G before we go any further?
No, not at the moment. I'm just eager and willing to see this wonderful episode get into motion so that we can not just educate one another, but all the listeners, and be able to provide a direction for them to just move towards. Because, sometimes people, they might not know where to start in order to get help or possibly seek help or have no idea that something that they're going through may be constituted as a mental health issue. So I'm just eager.
I'm eager as well. I'm ready to get into it almost, but I want to go back to Lightworker Wayne for just a couple of moments and just let light worker Wayne know how much I appreciate us bumping into each other 2 weekends ago at the Malcolm X Fest. We bumped into each other at the Malcolm X Fest. Yeah, not Wakanda, but Malcolm X.
I know. That's the nearest thing I can.
But yeah, well, we bumped into each other at the Malcolm X Fest that took place at the West End Park in Atlanta, Georgia. And we had a very, very great conversation and also a healing moment because it's been a minute since I met you, you met me, we met face to face at the radio station. And not to get into the situation that happened to me at WLK in the past, but we had some conversations offline behind the scenes about it. And, you know, we were both just like in a space, Light Worker Wayne, where, you know, you got my side of the story. You told me what was happening behind the scenes and what have you. And it was just so great to reconnect and not let drama and issues and other things get in between brotherhood. Because I look at you as a brother, and it's important that people see that in that type of environment. Like, I know we hear on the news all the time about black men that get into arguments with each other, this, that, and the other, and violence erupts and chaos erupts and stuff like that. But I think it's important for brothers like me and you to talk it out, have a conversation, and not let it lead into anything chaotic or what have you. I thought it was such a very beautiful moment that we connected, and we build, and we said, hey, look, if there's anything you need from me or anything I need from you, you let me know. And, you know, I was very apologetic about how I went about things last year while I was in Florida. And, you know, you pretty much gave me your 2 cents on things and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, brother, I love you. You know, that you're not going to hear me say pause or anything. Like, there's nothing wrong with telling another brother, I love you. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know, yeah, I mean.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, same here.
Yeah.
Well, to keep the tone, I love you too, brothers.
Hey, appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Hey. So let's definitely not include the sister. I mean, excuse me. Let's definitely include the sister. You know,
I love you guys too.
The queen, yes, the queen.
Yes,
right.
Yes. But
yes.
Just, you know, and I'm glad we was able just to have that discussion. You know, I know sometimes when it comes to business, you know, there's different viewpoints, this and that. And one thing is, I always, you know, wanted to make sure things was clear, concise, and stayed on order, you know, stayed on order in business, you know. So, and I'm glad we was able just to have that conversation.
Yeah, indeed. And it was a conversation worth having. So I appreciate that. Shout out to Tania, by the way. She's on the check-in. She said, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's good that we can all embrace each other as Black people in the Black community and the African diaspora and come together and just rebuild and reconnect and have these type of vulnerable conversations that we're getting ready to have. So thank you so much, Tania, for that compliment and for tuning in advance to Therapy Ain't No Joke. Tonight's topic, very, very heavy one, is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women. Very heavy one. What prompted me to have this conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen? I want to show the people that may not have been following me on Facebook. There's this image, this animated image that's been making the rounds on the internet. It has went viral, and I've been seeing people retag it, sharing it on their pages and stuff, and it's just been making the rounds over the past few days. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show our viewers 2 different versions of this animated image that's been circling all over the internet, especially on Facebook. So there's this one image of what you see in front of you. There's a visual of a Black woman and a Black man. On one side is a Black woman with an angry face, She has what appears to be 5 kids. She has a sign up that says requirement 6 feet, 6 figures, 6-pack abs, 6 inches, no baby mamas, handsome, Bentley, good in bed, mind reader. And then on the other side is what appears to be, of course, a black man holding a sign up, and it reads requirement peace. Basically insinuating or letting the readers know that what the black man needs at the end of the day is peace. Okay, so that's one version. Now the second version is this right here. There's a black woman and a black man. You know, obviously the faces are still the same. They look the same. On the opposite side, you have the black man holding what appears to be a video game controller, and he has a sign up that reads requirement, slim waist, natural hair, no kids, cook daily, no male friends, submissive, freaking bed, no student loans, IG on private. And then on the other side is the same image of the black woman that we saw just a few seconds ago. And there's a sign up that says requirement consistency, basically alluding to what she wants in a black man. So there's version 1, and then there's version 2. And I was talking to Rasta offline about this, you know, and he didn't see it at first, but when I sent Rasta the visual images and he looked into it, I'm not going to tell the people, Rasta, what your thoughts are. I'm going to give you an opportunity to explain your thoughts, especially from a forensic aspect. But it wasn't good. It wasn't good, you know. So I want to talk about the internet and the social media and its effect on black people, especially with our mental health. I'm going to start with Rasta, and then I'm going to let Randy G come in. Now, I know it's all of us black men and it's one woman, but I believe I want to include a woman's point of view into this conversation and get her take on it. But I want to go to Rasta first and get your response, your perspective, your take on when you see that image from a mental health or from a forensic standpoint. So let's say you.
Well, overall, both of them are just pretty much stereotypical. That's one. They actually portray two true avenues of both sets. There are women out there who think, I got all these children, I need me a guy who's gonna help me. I need somebody he gotta have some bread because I got babies. I can't do it by myself. If he got a nice car, then I know he got the money. He need to be good in bed and so forth and so on. And then the guy, he's like, well, you trying to get me to handle all that? That's not necessarily my prerogative. All I need is peace. So if you can provide that, then we good. We can figure it out. Then vice versa. On the other picture, where you got the guy who is seemingly, according to the portrait, immature, wants what he wants, but not looking at the peace that actually rests and resides in the melanated woman. Now, when we talk about peace and residing in those terms of a melanated woman, I know about that firsthand because of my wife. My peace lies in her. So I can definitely relate to that. Now, as far as the mental health aspect, poor nurturing, not just of yourself, but your surroundings, your environment, your friends, your family, what happens in your home, the way that you was raised. So, you know, back in the days, we was all taught, well, stay here, stay here. But you take what's outside this house, but then in the house, you was told, shut up, don't say nothing, or act like it didn't happen. So you had no outlet, you had no vent, except to either rebel or build resentment. And kind of to tie a lot of what we're talking to together just slightly, the only outlet that just so happens to pop up is social media, which carries great positive aspects. However, the negative aspects outweigh the positive aspects, because 9.9 times out of 10, if a person is not trying to make money on social media, they're really diminishing themselves to a large degree. Because social media has physical effects on the body as well. It can lead to sleep deprivation. It can lead to being lonely, isolation, long-term exposure to social media can actually idealize images in social media and can contribute to to the body image concern. Like, I'm supposed to look like this. I'm supposed to act like this. So if I'm not acting like this, then I'm not accepted. So it's a very large offset scale. And that's definitely a mental health issue. So when you first sent me that visual, I'm like, nah, man, that's crazy. And then when I seen the other one, I'm like, that's even more crazy. However, unfortunately, that's a reality that we can see any and every day. If each one of us just literally stepped outside our door and turned to the left or turned to the right, we could probably see an example of that. And that's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. Yeah. See, the key to forensic is the examination of the science behind it, digging deep, things that we don't even do for ourselves and in ourselves, let alone for somebody else. But then you look at the other side as well. How many of us are so willing to pour into other people and help other people while we're still stuck and don't even know it? So that's another aspect of it. You got this woman in the second picture. All she wants is consistency. Not realizing that the immaturity in the individual is consistent. That's why they where they at. So what consistency are you really looking for? Because even though she seems to be at peace and all she wants is something as simple as consistency, well, guess what? If we go by the picture, did she tell him what consistency she wants? How she would like it? The way that she sees consistency? Because in his mind, he is being consistent. He went to work. He got out of work. He got on the game. He was on the phone with a homie. He chilling. He got a little son sitting next to him. Got the dog right there. He vibing. He playing Madden right now. You tripping. I need you to be more consistent. I am. I went to work, didn't I? And I'm in. Hold up. Let me talk to you in a minute. Hey, yo, son, go feed the dog real quick. And just getting it. So even though it may look peaceful and it may look like she has a simple request, what consistency? That's where effective communication comes in. And sometimes we always want it, but we don't necessarily know how to give it. And that in itself is a mental health issue all on its own. That's like saying, I got $1 million and I want 20 lollipops from the store, but I don't want to go to the store and I don't want to pay nobody to go. What? That's how much sense that makes when we look at the things that we do and how we go about it. You're on mute.
Mute, bro. Mute.
So I tell you what, since we having slight technical difficulties, it's all right. We'll kind of jump into the next slide a little bit, right? So with the other slide, all right, this man said he want peace. What's his definition of peace then? Did he describe that to her? Did he let her know that?
No.
And then at the same time, she's saying she want all these requirements. Bro, look kind of tall too. He look kind of slim and trim. Look like he about his business, real clean cut, like he got his thing going on. I don't know what he got going on at the bottom half of the sign. We're gonna leave that where it's at. This is a show, So, and one thing a lot of people want, both sexes, which is the other person to be a mind reader without them even saying it. Oh, you supposed to know. How if you ain't tell me? How come we don't take the piece of consistency in the narrative of what we're building together? Because we have to do it together. So when we look at that narrative and we look at these pictures, it can be taken any kind of way. She could have lied. He could have lied. He just comfortable with the lie because she got to live with it. They might be all here chilling. He just walked off. That might be his piece, walking away. All of that stems from a particular state of mental health where we're not able to express ourselves and question ourselves and find out what's going on with us and be able to deliver that message. And if we kind of segue into a little further, taking that back to social media. In its prime, this is actually the result, this picture. That's why it went so viral, because everybody can relate to it. You know?
What I think Sean put down there, I'm interested. Let's get a woman's perspective on this. How you feel about this, Rhonda?
You know, I think all women, and I do think all men, have a wish list. So this is just a public wish list to me. It really, you know, I mean, the same lady who's asking for all of it's sort of like mocking her because she's asking for all these things, but she has 5 children who clearly she's still looking for another man. So there's a lot going on in that picture. I think it's a funny picture. I mean, but as far as the peace, it's what we want. I think men primarily do want peace, and women do want consistency. And again, it goes back into what you were mentioning earlier, Rasta, about the communication. Communication is vital. But you know, I am not a Bible thumper, but I am a Christian, and I do feel that. You know, if we focus on ourselves and put God first, then everything will fall in place, you know, because, you know, God gives us what we need and he gives us the desires of our heart. So all of this to me is, you know, it's concerning because I have 20-year-olds that are hooked on social media. But again, it does start with the family and talking to your children and letting them know that the reality of life and the most important thing in any relationship, be it a friend, girlfriend, just like you guys did earlier, is communication. So I don't really, I look at the picture as more comical because it's not true reality. I mean, we all want what we want, but the reality is, you know, I want $1 million today, but am I going to get it? Probably not. So, and I think we all have that reality. So again, just kind of working with what you have and knowing that, you know, communication is vital in any relationship. So the picture to me, I'm not big on social media, and I don't go on it for those same reasons because it is a little intimidating. It is a little overwhelming. You know, you see all these women in these gorgeous bodies and swimsuits, and you know, and it's just too much. After a minute, you know, you have to pull back from it. So you know, you have to know yourself, and you have to, you know, we as adults, we are all adults here, have to communicate that to the youth because it's vital. Because just like anything, it's all marketing, it's all business, it's all propaganda. So if you buy into it, you know, buyer beware.
That's true.
So, question. I would like to pose a question. As a collective, right? We did a episode. I don't think it was the last episode. It might have been the episode before. Well, as we were speaking about mental health, we was also speaking about social media and algorithm. So algorithm plays a part in that influence of the instability of the individual with their mental health. So if I'm looking up NASCAR and lollipops and Wonder Bread, then guess what? If I consistently do this, this is what's primarily sent to my phone. Now, they'll slip other stuff in there, but overall, this is what's coming. So the effect of social media, even if we're not on it a lot. So let's say we got a Facebook page and I might go on there once a week, twice a week. Not paying attention to the algorithm, anything I looked up on Google, or those who have iPhones, anything I looked up on Siri, consistently, when I go on my social media, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
So it still has that same effect. So, Miss Brandy, that's what I wanted to ask you directly is what can we do, or what avenue can we take to assist others with identifying the issue that they may have, even when they take themselves supposedly away from social media, but still having that same social media effect?
Okay, say the last part again. You broke up.
How do we assist others that don't follow social media like that? They're not on all the different platforms. They might be on one.
Right.
But they still receive that same effect as if they were on social media.
Right.
How do we assist in that area?
So you are more of the expert than I. I did go on, and I think you're pretty well versed. My whole thing is I just have to always go back to God, because He's the author, He's the creator. He saw this, He knew this. And one thing about the Bible is it's ever changing. It's the living water. So it gives us all of our answers. So this is a business, with the algorithm and that, and just educating people, but that should not be your do all be all. Your do all be all, it should actually be God. And if you it says seeking the Lord first, and all thy righteous things shall be added unto you. So whatever He gives us, the desires of our heart, it's just that, Satan has used this social media, or he's telling his vision, but God has His vision. So to me, it all is driven back to, focusing on God, because then everything becomes clear. If you don't have the source, then of course it's going to be distorted. It's going to be wicked. It's going to be wicker, like wicker is woven, all these little bits and pieces. But when you come from a sound place, you can't be deceived. So, there's a lot of mental health going on, and I see a lot of it. And even with the Christians, it's still going on. So I would probably just say education, things like you talking about it, letting people know what's going on, because I don't think everyone's aware of it. So again, here we go back to that communication.
Okay. Well, I tell you what.
Let's hang tight, because Light Worker Wayne gotta go in just a few minutes. I want to get his 2 cents on the conversation. If you have a response or a rebuttal, either towards Randy or towards Rasta, the floor is yours, Light Worker Wayne. And once again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for coming on.
Yeah. Well, one thing is, social media is not going nowhere. It's only going to get bigger. I work with a lot of the Gen Zs and the new generation. It's more intertwined. In the future, we're looking at more augmentative artificial intelligence. We're looking at more of like the Oculus, virtual reality. I already predict virtual girlfriends. That's already in the works. So the way I see it, more of our youth, more of our population, more of the next generation is going to be even more intertwined in it. And it is going to take more education, but I don't think many are going to really implement that education. I think we're going to deal with more mental health issues when it comes to the social media. Social media is going to program our political beliefs, our religious beliefs. It's going to program our dating references, just like it already has. And I can only see only like a chosen few, only families that's really close knit, that's really on it, that's able to teach their youth, their next generation about, not falling for this illusion. And they are going to deal with their own mental health, just operating in a world where most of the world is trapped up in the illusion. Most of the world is trapped up in the confusion. So and so that's what I see on the whole social media aspect. Because now, even when you mentor the youth, if you take their phone away, they're dealing with addiction withdrawals. They're acting like you taking a drug away. It has became their drug, right? To where back when I was in school, we wasn't allowed to be on our phones in class. But now the school system has let these kids have their phones in class, and these kids is, on social media while they're in the middle of class and all that. So just overall, I hear where y'all coming from, and it can be implemented, but I'm just seeing the future, just working with a lot of youth. And I think we're already at a stage where the AI and human being is already combined in one. And it's only going to get even more deeper. So in regards to that, that's why I say in regards to that,
Yeah. Now to our original topic for tonight, and I know in the interest of time, you got to go in about less than 6 minutes from now. The show title is, of course, called "Is Social Media and the Internet Dividing the Black Man and the Black Woman?" And so from the images that we just posted online, we just showed to our viewers and stuff, what is your own takeaway, your personal takeaway from seeing that?
See, that is, the internet is being the tool that is used. The internet is just another tool. It doesn't have a conscience. Whether, it's just like a gun. You can use it to save, you can use it to murder. So that's how I look at it. It is people that's getting these platforms that's able to spew these narratives. Some people are hurt, right? It's a whole channel by a woman, her name's Cynthia G. She's big on YouTube. And like some of the stuff she says is very anti-man. Then you got channels where it's men, and some of the things they're saying is very anti-women, right? And it's a lot of people that's dealing with hurt and pain, and that's dealing with each other, right? That's dealing with the opposite sex, but not dealing with healthy ways. And it's things that they're doing to contribute to the unhealthiness and vice versa. So when they get the platform, they're able to put out these narratives, and these narratives become indoctrinations. It becomes indoctrinations to the youth. It becomes indoctrinations to the young people, right? And they fall for it. They fall for it, and they choose the internet over reality. And sometimes it's hard not to get steeped up in it. Sometimes it's hard not to get steeped up in it. I had dark periods where I was listening to what Cynthia G was saying. I was listening to what some of these mid channels were saying about women, and I had I had to use my own filter in. Like, okay, I see some populations in my age group of women doing that, but I got homegirls that don't be like that, right? I got examples of women that's not like that. So it becomes a whole thing of overgeneralization. We're just overgeneralizing the 8 billion people on this planet. We're overgeneralizing, putting them all in the same box. All black women act like this. All black men act like this. We put in all these people in the same box, but 8 billion people don't fit in the itty bitty box, and that's not what we're asking ourselves.
And by the way, regarding of what Lightworker Wayne just illustrated, when it's the male content creators and the male YouTubers, there's a term for that, the manosphere. They've been calling it the manosphere for a couple of years now, since the height of folks like Kevin Samuels and other people that came after Kevin Samuels. But the black man versus the black woman, and this is nothing new, by the way. This is nothing new before COVID happened. I think COVID and instances that happened after that accelerated more and more of the gender wars, the conversations, the dialogue, the back and forth between the black man and the black woman, to where you start seeing those type of images, just like the one that's been going viral, that we showed, that we put on display for our viewers that may have seen it or may have not seen those illustrations. But people's takeaway from it is different. Of course, Brandy, I know you said just a few moments ago you saw it for entertainment purposes, and of course, Rasta looking at it from a forensic, but from also a mental health standpoint of the different variations that come from it, that it can make an impact to somebody's mental well-being. And like what you said just a few moments ago to what you just said a few seconds ago, Lightworker Wayne, the generation, the Gen Zers and the younger people that are looking at these images and looking at what's being put out there on social media, they're going to see that as not just only the norm, but they're going to apply those images into their everyday lives, because it's being put out there. Like you hear the term or the quote, kids soak everything up like sponges. And so with social media being what it is, to which I agree, it's not going to go anywhere. With social media being what it is, kids are going to see images like that, especially our black children, our black kids. They're going to see more and more of that, and it's definitely not going to be a positive thing for a children's well-being, their mental health. But I know you got to go, Lightworker Wayne. We definitely got to bring you back on one of our future episodes, especially for Men's Mental Health Month. But we really appreciate it, Lightworker Wayne. And Rasta, you got anything you want to say before Lightworker Wayne departs?
Great mindset, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Great narrative.
Thank you, brother.
I could tell it was passionate. I could tell it's your personal experience, and my profession, what we call a lived experience.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for your growth. I'm grateful for the avenue that you're going down. Anytime you need to reach out to me, more than welcome. Now, slight segue, especially if you could tell me where you got that necklace from.
I got you. It's a gentleman on IG. His name is Copperly Culture, right? He does custom work, right? He takes copper and makes masterpieces out of it. So his name's Copperly Culture, COPPERLY, then Cultured, CULTURED.
Copy that. And that actually, scientifically speaking, from our heritage of black men and black women, that copper is a wonderful conductor of electricity, especially if you have a Swartz crystal in it, because it in itself is a conductor. With melanated people, this carbon fiber here does wonders.
Yeah, it does. All right. Hey. Yeah. Hey, yes. It's been good talking to y'all. I'll tap in with y'all later, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much. Lightworker Wayne, ladies and gentlemen, right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke with Sean Garvey and Rasta also joining in the conversation, weighing in on the conversation. is Randy G. Now, before I went over to Lightworker Wayne, I think there was something you wanted to say to Randy Rasta. I don't know if you still have that thought in your mind or not, but was there something you wanted to add to Randy's point earlier?
No, actually, the feng shui of the show was moving. I was actually about to bring Lightworker Wayne into the conversation, but when you came in, you did it, so everybody's still on point. I'm loving it.
Okay, all right, great, because I still got more to say. I still got some things that I want to respond to everybody's point, because everybody has made some very valid points thus far, and to the conversation at hand rather. And speaking of which, the conversation still remains, ladies and gentlemen. Today's topic is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women. So you still have time to post your comments online, either on my Instagram page at Sean Garvey ATL on Instagram. We are doing IG Live simultaneously, along with YouTube at Reach One Network. You can post your comments there, or on my Facebook page at Sean Garvey. Let's do this. Randy, do you still have time to hang around for part 2? You still got time? Okay, great. Because, okay, great. So what we're going to do, because we have to, of course, use the first hour of Therapy Ain't No Joke for our affiliate station in Atlanta, ATL Community Media Channel 24. This is going to be considered as part 1 of Therapy Ain't No Joke, in which the topic is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women. And I want people to hang tight. We are still getting comments in. We got a whole bunch of comments that I'm going to read to our viewers. And I want you, Rasta, and I want you, Randy, to respond to those comments one at a time. And we'll get everybody's thoughts in, okay? So make sure you get those comments in, ladies and gentlemen. Today's topic is social media and the internet. Is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women? We want to hear from you. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen there, we have additional information, including texting. We have a text line that you can text your comments, just in case you want to not put your comment out there in the street. You can text me at 404-259-5076. That's 404-259-5076. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. I'm going to have those comments, and we're going to hear from you, Rasta. We're going to hear from you, Randy, and continue to have this healthy yet important conversation on social media, the internet, and its impact on the Black community, Black men and Black women. Stay tuned. It is Therapy Ain't No Joke with Sean Garvey and Rasta. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Therapy ain't no joke. Sean Garvey, Rasta, and our special guest, Randy G, having an important conversation. This is part two of Therapy Ain't No Joke. And today's topic is social media and the internet. Is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women? Big shout out to Light Worker Wayne for joining with us during the first hour and first half of Therapy Ain't No Joke. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can check out this show on demand. If you missed any of tonight's highlights, you can check out this show in its entirety on demand by going to our YouTube channel, Reach One Network. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is at Reach One Network. And shout out to all of our affiliates, including our channel Honey, available on Roku TV, the Flow Television Network, available not only on Roku TV, but on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, and on Apple TV as well. We got so many affiliates, including Spotify, iHeart Podcast, where you can download today's edition of Therapy Ain't No Joke at your disposal. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in advance. We really appreciate it. And to you, Randy G, for hanging out with us. We definitely need a woman's voice to the conversation tonight. So we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you're just tuning in, the topic is at the bottom of your screen. There is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women. We pulled this up earlier in the program. There's two different versions, and this is just for people who are tuning in and catching the show late. We got this version right here of a stereotypical angry Black woman with 5 kids holding up a sign with requirements that she's looking for in a Black man: 6 feet, 6 figures, 6 pack, 6 inches, you know, the 666s, no baby mamas, handsome Bentley, or in other words, drive a Bentley, and good in bed and must be a mind reader. The gentleman on the other side of the picture is, and you know, I'm just like everybody else in the social media world. Why does he have 3 hands? I don't know. Why does he have 3 hands? Requirement that he's looking for from a woman, specifically a Black woman: peace. Okay, that's one version. The second version is the lady on the left, same face, same look, requirement, consistency. And on my right, on the other side, is the same guy, but this time he has on an angry face, holding up a video game controller with a sign that reads requirement, consisting, this is the requirements that he wants from a Black woman from his Black female counterpart: slim waist, natural hair, no kids, cook daily. What else does it say? No male friends, submissive, freaking bed, no student loans, and IG on private. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is what's been making its round on the internet. So we're taking your questions, we're taking your comments, we're even taking your text, 404-259-5076, and we're going to read them online. You all ready to hear some of the comments that people have been making on tonight's topic?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. All right, so on Facebook, Chantel, big shout out to Chantel checking in. She says, so true. So she kept it very short and simple. So true to the topic. I think she's alluding to the topic is social media and the internet dividing Black people. Let's go over to the other comment section here and let's pull it up here. Let's see which one I want to go to first. Let's go to Tasha checking in. Tasha Simmons, she says hyperbolic or hyperbolic. I haven't heard that word, that term in a while. She describes the image to be hyperbolic. And we got Chantel's comment here at the bottom of the screen there. So true. Like I said, she kept it very simple and short, alluding to tonight's topic. Tania. Oh, okay. She just said I had to change platforms. YouTube is spinning and not loading. welcome to the internet. Tasha says, how you got all that from the pic? I don't know how you got all that from the pic. If for just for clarity purposes, what does she mean? What do you think she means, Rasta? I don't want to assume, but
possibly when we were all building, but more so probably when I was talking and I was giving the different depictions and descriptions of that picture from the male to female side and then jumping back and forth.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. She also goes on to say, agreed. Social media is a tool. It's a tool that a lot of us use on a daily basis. Back to Tania. Tania says, men want peace, women want consistency. If they work together, both get what they want. It doesn't have to be hard. In today's age, is it hard though? Is it hard?
It's as hard as the choice.
What do you want? You want? Go ahead, Rasta.
My apologies. It's as hard as the choice you make. My wife's in the studio with me, and I asked her the topic question, and my wife said no. She said no. It's a choice. If they're divided, it's because they're choosing to be divided. It has nothing to do to a degree about social media or the internet. So I agree to a large degree, yet I do see some of the fine tooth and fine edges in there as well. But that is a great, to me, aspect to build on from there where, okay, is it dividing the black men and the black women? Yes, and it is a choice. Kind of leading back to what Miss Randy said in saying she leans on the word. So she's choosing not to fall into social media. You see what I'm saying? So you can choose to fall into it. You can choose to create your algorithm. However, you can also choose to refrain from it. With these requirements in the pictures, you can choose to refrain from that. You got all these requirements, but what about the requirements that are needed from yourself? So it's basically a choice. So I definitely agree with that. That's an A1 for me. What you think, Ms. Randy?
I feel that social media is what people decide to use it for. Like a lot of women use it for hair or, makeup, and it can educate. Just like anything, too much of anything is just not going to be good for you, and it's how you use it. And I'm going to keep it 100. Social media can really be a benefit because there are a lot of women and men out here doing what they want to do, but now they're being called out primarily by social media. So women are learning. Like there's a lot of my children who are in their 20s tell me they know so much more than I did when I was their age. They're like, okay, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm not going to deal with that. And I'm so happy because there's one less thing I have to teach them, because they're learning like about alcohol and drugs and how people just go down these awful paths because of it. So I think it's about the choices that are being made, and even with women, we're learning about how men think. And it can be good. Like men do want peace. I mean, most men want peace, where most women want to communicate. We're emotional. Let's talk about this now. So you learn it's how it's being used. So whether it, just like anything, yes, it can divide, and it probably does divide for that person who's constantly looking for that man basher or that woman basher. But it can bring unity too, if that's what you're looking up. If you're looking up like how to build relationships, how to be a better person. But on an overall basis, I think social media, because of the suicide rate among the youth, we clearly know it's not a good thing just on an overall basis. So the division is probably more so there than I'd like to admit, honestly, because when you're dealing with the 20 somethings that are using it and are feeling that they want this type of man and the man wants this type of woman and I can get it, so we're not going to be together because I'm constantly looking, that can be a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Let's continue on with the comments here on Facebook and on Instagram. Make sure you follow us there. Kofi on Facebook, on my Facebook page at Sean Garvey. He says, got to check the time. Let me see. Oh, no, that's something else. He's just talking about the time difference here. Ladies and gentlemen, please post your comments about the topic at hand. I don't want to see and hear all the other outside topics that y'all are talking about, but just make sure y'all post the y'all comments on the topic at hand, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back over to the comments on Facebook because we're still getting some more in as we speak. Maya says, long-standing narratives rooted in slavery. I was just getting ready to touch on that for a moment. Expose the misinformation that keep Black men and women from having healthy relationships. I want to say that one more time for Maya, checking in on Facebook. He says, long-standing narratives rooted in slavery expose the misinformation that keep Black men and women from having healthy relationships. What do you think about that comment? I mean, because once again, these are images of Black people. I have never seen people of other cultures, of other ethnicities have this type of imagery. And maybe I'm wrong, you know, anybody in the chat room or watching us, show me some evidence, show me some receipts of other cultures and other people of different ethnicities having this type of back and forth in a visual illustration like the one that we just saw. What being rooted back to slavery, what are your thoughts? I'll start with Randy and then I'll go to Rob.
Okay, so, and I appreciate that. And I did, you know, this is a public forum, so there's a lot of things I didn't want to say, but of course, that's a big issue, primarily. A lot, and I'm just going to put it like this, I'm going to make it light. During the riots, right, when the Watts riots, remember when they were, it was the Black community, and they were burning down their own community in California. Well, it now is known that they were not the people who lived there, which were African Americans, were not the people who started the riot. They were of another color. So a lot of narratives that we see are not coming from us, but they are to control. And we have to be aware of that. You know, of course, I knew that early on, but I just didn't want to say anything. But, you know, it goes back to slavery. We know where the guy had to go in and make the babies because they needed slaves. They didn't have, you know, factories and warehouses. So we know that's going on. I mean, that's that. And who has, and this is something I tell a lot of people to do, go on Forbes, go to Forbes.com and look up the millionaires, and you will see pages and 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 pages of the other. And you might get way down to the bottom and see Oprah Winfrey or somebody from Africa. So when you start to have people who are doing better, that's not what is wanted. So a lot of the narratives are thrown in to destroy the Black community, but we have to be smarter than that. And listen, I have a ton of the other in my family and a ton of friends, but reality is reality.
Okay. All right. Rasta, let's say you.
Well, you definitely got the right one on top of like that. In short, did slavery play a part? Absolutely. But I think the emphasis of the part that it played to get us where we are is solely due to the choices that we're making to accept what's put in front of us, opposed to doing our history. I say that because it's all psychological. Remember, this is about mental health, and therapy is not a joke. So if anybody out there need it, please go seek it. This is not the therapy space, but it is a space to be open and find out information. Everything they tell us from slavery to now. The middle of slavery or the end of slavery to now. What about before that? They don't teach us before that. Think about it. When I was in school, when Ms. Randy was in school, when you was in school, they don't teach us before that. They teach us right at the pivotal point to continue to emphasize and downplay on the mental stability of a melanated man or woman. In school, they teach you nothing that is relevant to you and your culture. And then we want to know why the children are acting up or on social media. They're bored. There's nothing relevant. The curriculum in school is designed to teach you how to continuously be a slave, but in another way, and make you think that you're achieving something, when in all actuality, you're helping them to enslave your mind. Because they don't teach you about credit. They don't teach you like economics like back in the day until they caught on. They don't teach you about credit. They don't teach you about accounts. They don't teach you about being an entrepreneur. And then at any moment that you get the chance to even possibly identify that movement, you have to pay them several thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to attend a college for them to tell you, figure it out on your own. Pick a class. It doesn't matter. And then we're going to teach you what you want. That even goes further to off the topic, but slightly on in the division of melanated men and women dealing with social media. If you notice on social media, when they show our historians, our great melanated people who have climbed up, the pictures are always in black and white. Black and white identifies in the mind as something of being old and distant, meaning non-relevant. Because if you just saw that same picture in color, it would have sparked something. Because you can see the reality of it. So, is social media and the internet dividing black men and black women? Yes, intentionally. Yet on our end, those who are watching and indulging, it is still a choice. Yet we're still robbed of those choices. Let's tap a little bit into what Miss Randy said about the millionaires and the millionaires. Guess what? Let me explain something to y'all. All those so-called millionaires of melanated skin that are out there, they're just in a larger bird cage than we are. When they sign that contract to make that money, they have sold their souls to them people.
Wait a minute. I didn't say they were melanated because there's very few of those.
I am.
Okay.
I'm just touching on and respectful. I love the clarity. I love the clarity. Ah, yes. Love the clarity. It's just touching on millionaires as a whole, but I'm touching in depth more of millionaires of black men and women.
Okay.
There are billionaires. We still don't have no hospitals. We still don't have no schools. We still don't have effective libraries. But y'all got all this money. It's evident they're not allowed to do it. Because if so, they check gonna get cut. The more money you make, the stronger the threshold is.
For what is Puffy on for? Anyways,
the stronger the tight hold is. You're allowed to spend money the way we want you to spend money, because when you sign that contract, we own your name now. So we own you. You can't do nothing unless you ask us first. They got all these big ideas. They get their contracts, whether it's in music or sports, entertainment, acting, actresses, actors. And then next thing you know, they're making all these money, but all these organizations, where that money going? We don't see it. It ain't here in Atlanta. It ain't here in Macon. It ain't in Warner Robins. Where's it going? Y'all come to Macon you want to, and I can give you a little tour of Macon, and I can show you how many abandoned houses there is, and then show you the equivalent of how many homeless people there are. So all these billions of dollars, and y'all doing these great things for us as a people. Where is it coming from? But once again, the division of social media and the internet that divides us as a people, because that's how they're using it. You can make money, you can do this, you can do this, and then when you get there, sign this paper. Oh, by the way, we're gonna go ahead and shut all that down. Don't even worry about it. Really?
Or unless you do this.
Exactly. So to kind of round it off, because I can talk for days on that.
It needs to be talked about. I mean, and people are.
That's for another.
That's for another episode.
Yeah. Okay.
So to round it off, is it etched or touched into slavery, the establishment of us and the division of us, whether it be by social media or internet? It plays a part, but I have a tendency at this moment to agree with my wife. It's still a choice.
It's still a choice.
So what are you choosing?
Okay, so Rasa says this is a choice, and it sounds to me, Randy, I could be wrong from your energy, you kind of disagreed a little bit, just a little bit, maybe not all of what Rasa said, but is there a disagreement? And we'll go back to the comments because we're still getting some more comments coming in. But do you care to retort?
So I don't disagree at all, and I just believe that the topic that we're having here is definitely not a one size fits all. The only way we could make it a one size fits all is to do a survey, and then it would have to be a true survey. And then, so all we're doing is making assumptions on what we see. But me, from a female perspective about social media and the division of the Black male and female, I just personally feel like it can really help people to step up to the plate. So right in that picture where the guy said, I want a woman like this, and this. Well, guess what? If you don't, I have a daughter who doesn't want to cook dinner. Well, guess what? You might need to learn to cook dinners. It's kind of like out there. You need to cook. And
it's a survival skill.
Yeah, exactly. And for the women who don't want to go to the gym or whatever, you know, if you want a good man or if you want a decent man, if you want to get close to that Bentley, you might need to do some of these things, which could get us closer to where we need to be as a community, because it can only help us. And as far as the man, you can put his up too, because I don't remember what he wanted, but okay, so consistency. So they need to learn, okay, well, baby, what type of consistency are you looking for? What do you need from me? Because the Bible also says we think that we're right in our own mind. So everybody thinks that they're right. And to put it in your face constantly, no, you're not right. There is a better way. It can help us. So there's two sides to this story. But at the end of the day, when you're dealing with young, fragile 20-year-olds who are just, okay, well, yeah, I need consistency. And this is the kind of man I want. Yeah, it can break you if you're not looking at the other side and saying, oh, well, maybe I need to learn how to cook, or maybe my man doesn't want me on social media so much, or maybe I need to be a little more submissive to get the man that I want. So there's two sides, but I'm sure that the 20-year-olds aren't looking at it like that. And it can be still destructive if they're not looking at it. When we're older, and so we know that there's two sides to every story. I don't think that they quite know that, but I'm hoping that that's what will come out of it. But we know that the algorithm is going to keep them in that one little space. This, no. So, but I just hope that they can see the needs and wants, that it's not one-sided, because I don't think our fathers knew that. They just, like you said, I just brought the paycheck home, you should be good. Well, social media is now saying, no, I'm not good. And, you know, if a man is looking at social media, hopefully he's becoming a better man.
I want to chime in and say this before we go back to the comments. I talked a little bit about this last night when I was doing my other thing outside of Therapy Ain't No Joke. I do have another podcast called Unemployment Check. And I talked about the power of saying no. And it all stemmed from these back and forth debates and conversations I would have offline with people that I know personally. And ironically, they all happen to be women, right? And specifically, they all happen to be women. Specifically, they happen to be all Black women. And I had to go outside, Randy. I had to go outside and just take a walk. I had to take a walk before I took a walk after I did the show because I wanted to just get it out there, and then I go and take my walk or what have you. And some of the women that I know personally, they're on social media all the time. And it's crazy because, I mean, of course, we're all in media. Like a lot of them that I talk to on occasion, regularly, they're on social media as much as I am. And that's part of my job description, is to be on social media, whether I'm promoting, marketing, branding, all that other stuff, right? We're like, even with this show that we're doing right now, it's on social media. The world gravitates to social media every single day. This is a social media world at the end of the day, right? But I'm still old school when it comes to communication. And I think we don't do a lot of that, or at least I'm trying my hardest to meet them in the middle to communicate. But what happens when they have a disagreement or something? They go on social media. They send me a DM. One person would send me a DM. The other would email me. The other person would text. And I'm like, yo, what happened to just calling somebody or meeting up in person and just say, hey, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Because right now, what you're doing is you're disrupting my mental well-being. And I'm on this journey of not just only being a better version of myself, which I feel and think that we all, both men and women, are on this journey to be better versions of ourselves. But sometimes it just kind of irks me that they don't meet me halfway when it comes to communication, because they figured, oh, well, instead of talking to Sean or picking up the phone and calling Sean, I'm going to just send him a text, or I'm just going to send him a DM, or I'm just going to send him an email. I mean, to some extent, that's a little bit passive aggressiveness. And it just, you know, and I was walking the other day, I did like this, right? When I was walking up and down the street, and I just kept saying what a lot of men have been saying, going back to the gentleman in the illustration that he had to show you all. I just want peace.
Yes, peace.
I just want peace. That's all. You know, whether we are in a romantic relationship or platonic relationship or just friends or just family, I just want peace at the end of the day, because my mental health comes first, right? But when I saw that on social media, and I've seen it so many times, I was like, Rasta, we got to do a conversation on this because I'm seeing it so many times. At first, I didn't find it entertaining like you did, Randy. I just was like, okay, yep. That's pretty much where we are as Black people, men and women. This is what we want. This is what they want. Okay, cool. But I kept seeing it over and over and over and over again. And it just did something to me. It just did something to me where it's like, dang, like, can we see the positivity? Can we see something beyond the negativity of what Black men and Black women are dealing with in today's society? Yeah. I mean, am I wrong or am I right, Rasta? I mean,
I agree with you. I mean, we should all do what we can to see the positivity in it. I mean, we all deserve it. We all deserve it.
I agree, but I agree. But with social media, I just feel like sometimes we're just caught up in what I call the matrix.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
You know,
Okay,
Because
so
look at this. I apologize.
I know you go ahead.
Thank you.
okay,
Look at the generational gap. They have no idea what a struggle is. So they lean on what's dependent upon, meaning they have something we never had. They literally have the entire world in their hand and don't know what to do with it. We had the yellow pages and the white pages, bro. We had the phone on the wall, and we was grateful when mama bought the long cord so we can go around the corner and talk on the phone. Like when handheld games was literally like, you remember the one in the water and it had the little rings and you had to hit the button and hope the pressure pushed it up so the ring can land, like realistically. So they don't know the struggle. They don't know you had to use a rotary phone, and guess what? If you messed the number up, you had to hang up and do it again. There was no erase button. You had to literally walk to school. School bus what? You had to get the silver bucket or in the tub, but you had to get that silver bin with the scrub board and wash your clothes out. Laundry, man. What? The things that made us tough, the things that brought us together, they don't have. What they have is the division of us all as a people, which is, and yes, it can be used for good, it can be used for greatness. I'm not downing it as a whole. But we are talking about the mental health effects of it and the possibilities of the division that it implies or applies to the individual's life. So that's the part that I'm digging at. I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying, oh, it's just trash, it's no good. No, there's wonderful things about it. Absolutely wonderful. I found family members that I haven't seen in years and didn't even know they were still alive. So I'm not saying as a whole it's terrible. So I really want to get that out there. But to dig into the division of us as a people and men and women, we had to communicate. Nowadays, you know why people text? They text because they don't want nobody to say nothing back. Now I want to go ahead and get this off. That same number you text, you could have called me. Just like you said, you could have called me. We talk almost every other day. You couldn't call me about that. You call me and ask me, what am I doing? And I say, oh, I'm finna go over here to the studio. And then you say, oh. Is that what you wanted? No, I just want to know what you were doing. But we having a serious conversation and we disagree. You couldn't call me about that? Device. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it at that on that. Device. Y'all do the etymology. Etymology. It's the origin and history of words. Device means to separate. Now we have social media and internet. So we have something that was made to divide, and what they allow it to push out is the picture of division.
Okay. Randy, you was about to say something. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you started with, you were in the studio and there were 3 women there and you left out. So what caused the problem?
Yeah, so let me clarify. These were all on separate occasions. So I was just doing a show live yesterday. And after I'd done the show, I went out and I walked, right? I went out and walked, and that's one of the things that my therapist and I talked about in our therapy session is, you know, if anybody gets under your skin or whatever, just go out and take a walk, take a breather, so forth and so forth. But these episodes that I've had with women in communication or by way of digital media devices or digital platforms or what have you, it's just that when you send me a message, whether it's in a text or email or social media, I'm not mad. Here's the thing, Randy. I'm not mad or angry that you come with me or come to me with a concern. I'm just disappointed, or I feel some type of way in how you deliver the message. It's almost similar to, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, but it's just how you deliver the message. Because here, the reality is this goes back to, ties into the conversation we're having tonight, right? It's only so much stuff that you can say in a text. Ain't nobody got all day to be on the phone and typing 800, 900,000 characters. I don't do that. Now, maybe there's somebody in the world that does that, but I don't. Sean Garvey doesn't do that. And I'm sure, assuming Rasta don't do that as well. But yeah, it's so much stuff. And then when you say it in a context or in a text where it's short and it comes off in a way where it sounds like you belittling me or what have you, I'm going to take it the wrong way. That's probably what you may have not meant in a text or in an email or in a DM, but that's why I call. I either call or I tell the person, hey, give me a call, because I don't know if you're busy or not. Give me a call so I can get clarity. I can get clarification on what this concern is. I can't read minds, right? So kind of going back to the picture, mind reader. As you can see at the bottom of the screen there, of the sign that the woman is holding up, mind reader. Once again, I don't agree with the imagery because it's very stereotypical. But there are people in reality that fit some of those stereotypes. And there are some people that expect other people, I said some people because I'm not here to generalize or anything. There are some people that expect other people to be mind readers. And I'm not one. If anybody asks me, hey, Sean, what would be your superpower be? Number one, it would be a mind reader. Maybe that could solve 98 of my problems. And then number two, my other superpower would be, I don't know, being a black superhero and not having to face the different isms that I face as a black man every day. That's for another conversation for another day as well. But the mind reader thing and stuff like that, I mean, I know brothers that are watching can relate. Oh man, she thinks I'm a mind reader and everything. That's where the importance of communication comes in. Let me get clarity. Let me get some understanding on what you're trying to tell me in a text, in an email, or in a DM. Because I can't read your mind and be the problem solver that you hope me to be or that you want me to be. I mean, I am a problem solver, don't get it wrong, but I'm more of a problem solver by way of communication than through a text or a DM or an email. That's all.
And that's a lot. And that's fair. And that's pretty much what we're talking about too, just dealing with the mental health. So that's one of the things that drive you. But your significant other, that would, that communication is vital, because a lot of men don't open up. So a lot of women do have to use text, and because a lot of men don't want to talk. They want to watch the game. So you're just on the other side, then that guy can maybe open it during lunch. Oh, baby, I didn't know. So, just dealing with different personalities. And
yeah, I agree with Randy on that. And see, that's why for next month, Men's Health Month, that's why one of our episodes that me and Rasta are going to do with the other men that we're going to be bringing on the show, the importance of communication. For men, the importance of communication for men.
Surface real, because men will. Okay, let me just tell her this to just get her out of the way. but not get into the nitty gritty. And women want to get into the nitty gritty. I mean, they want, all the, okay, well, what did you mean and why and who, what, where, when? And men just want to, that's not important. I just want peace. I just want to watch the game. So we are two different species, and whether the internet is dividing us, I just hope it's uniting us, because I'm just hoping we're learning that we have needs and differences. And, I think most men do want, this woman who's submissive and cooks and looks good. And and most women need to know that, and so I just, again, it can be used either way.
Let's go back to the comments here, and Rasta, I see you ready to jump in. Are you ready to jump in and make some more comments as well? But let's go back to the comment section right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. And by the way, for those who are just tuning in, tonight's topic now is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women. You still have time in the few minutes that we have here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. And going back to the comment section, Tania is still watching. Thank you so much for checking in and staying tuned with us. Before that, we were kings and queens before slavery. She wanted to mention that. She goes on to say, slavery and civil rights movement, I think she was saying since slavery and civil rights movement, they've been taking men out of the Black household. She also goes on to say, this generation of men are different than our parents. Men were providers and bring home the check, and now men looking for women to help, if not take care of them. It's crazy. And she also responded to the whole social media thing with communication. Social skills are out of the window. A phone call was that. LOL. Let's chime in on this real quick. So
Go back.
do you want to go back? Which one you want to go back to?
The one right before the last, about it ended with that's crazy or something to that effect.
Oh, yeah. Social skills are out the window, or a phone call was that? Or before that, we were kings and queens?
After that, hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
I think it was the last one.
Okay.
Where it says this generation.
Oh, right here. Okay. So, yeah, this generation of men are different than our parents. Men were providers and bring home the check. And now men looking for women to help, and if not, take care of them. It's crazy.
That, first and foremost, Boss Lady T, thank you very much for tuning in. We want you to keep tuning in. Appreciate your effort in the support of Therapy Ain't No Joke. I agree with majority of your statement. Love it. But when it says men were providers and bring home the check, and now men looking for women to help, if not take care of them, it's crazy. Men should provide, yes, but not just monetary. We should be able to provide mentally, spiritually, emotionally, to the best of our ability. Yet, if a woman has to step up and take care of that man, then she should. So no, that's not crazy. If he needs to look to her for that, just like she looked to him for that, that should not be a problem. And I think that might become a stigma for many who think that a man is just naturally supposed to take care of a woman because he's supposed to, because he's a man. Nope, not saying that you're saying it. I'm saying that. I don't want to put no words on you. I'm not trying to misconstrue your words. They plainly say what you wanted it to say. I'm saying it's not crazy if that man looks to that woman and say, I need you. I ain't got it. I need you to help me out. And I might need you to take care of me for a little bit till I can figure it out. Because that's what a real woman does. Because guess what? When I was down, I don't care if it was for a day, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. My wife held me down. Best she could. She held me down. So that is a two-way street. It's not crazy. Sometimes us as men, we need help too. It's a partnership. Miss Randy speaks about the word a lot. So guess what? According to the word, it says that man and woman shall unite and come together. She shall lead the home, come together and cleave and become one. Become one. That oneness, that's not 50-50 for anybody that's listening. It's not 50-50. Whoever told you 50-50, they lied to you. They told you a bold-faced lie. Ain't no 50-50 nothing, because where the other 50 going at? Is it going to somebody else? No. It's 100. If I'm ever lacking, guess what? You're going to have to put 100 and something. And if you lacking, I'm going to have to do the same. So let's not let the stereotypical ideas of the internet or social media divide us as men and women with the stereotype of man's supposed to do all of this because he's supposed to do all of this. And that's just the sole purpose of him being there, because that's why he quiet. And that's why he don't want to pay you no attention. And that's why he watching the game and don't want to hear nothing from you, because every time you turn around, you supposed to be doing this. And why we can't meet in the middle. If I'm doing all this, what you doing? I'm doing all this, what are you doing? Are you making sure my mental health is good? Are you telling me that you love me? Are you telling me it's going to be all right? Are you telling me that you believe in me? Are you telling me that, baby, you got it? Baby, you can do it. Baby, you can change the whole world. You still got holes in your drawers and half your sneaker laying off. And she say, baby, you got it. You can do it. You got it. I believe in you. Tighten up now, tighten up. But I believe in you. That make a difference. And that's where the social media don't even play a part no more. And it don't even matter no more. Because you got a whole goddess behind you, not no queen. By the way, remember y'all, I said etymology. Y'all look up the etymology on the word queen. I bet you won't never call another melanated woman a queen again. Now, if y'all want me to give you the definition, I'll do that, but somebody either got to put it in the comments or one of y'all ask.
I want to know.
Okay, that's one vote. Sean, you want to know?
I'm just a mediator.
I'll look it up. Never mind.
Etymology, right? The origin and history of words. Queen, Queen, right? Prior to that established form of it, it was Quean, which means a lowly woman, a prostitute, a whore. Mm-hmm. So we have to be mindful of the things that we say, because that alone can bring the division of us as a people or speak curses on each other. Etymology is very important, because we have to know if we're speaking a language that is the hardest language in the world to learn, it must be for a reason. If we look at the origin of the word, we know why it came in and how it was used, regardless of what it means now. Did y'all know that the word nice means foolish in its origin? Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, that's so foolish. That's what it means, like literally. Weird don't mean, oh, he acting weird or she acting weird. That's crazy. Now, weird means one who controls their fate. When we misuse and misappropriate these words, we speak things into our life and on us without us even knowing. Without us even knowing. That in itself is a mental health issue, to be speaking and technically not knowing what you're saying. That is how we begin to continuously be divided, whether social media is here or not. That's how we continue to allow the mental health issues in our homes continue to grow and in our friendships and in our relationships, because we're not sure of what we're saying. Think about this. Slight proof, and I'm gonna leave it alone. Those who are on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, those who are watching now, how often have you ever looked up the words that you have used? 9.9 times out of 10, you learned those words from the people that was around you and took it for face value. And they did the same thing before. You know how old you was before you looked at the word like? Like. You know how old you was before you looked at the word what? If you haven't done it, or if you even done it by now. Because it's so common. It's like breathing now. We're just used to it without appreciating it. So my food for thought, man, love yourself. Treat yourself. Don't beat yourself. Elevate yourself. If you need help, reach out for it. Talk to us. Put it in the chat. Whatever it takes. Because therapy ain't no joke. For real.
Right. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, Tania, aka Boss Lady T, says, "Give it to us," and it looked like he did. A spoonful of it. Okay, we only got about 9 minutes left here before we end the show tonight. We really appreciate everybody, their comments, and I may not get to every comment tonight. We're still getting a lot of comments coming in, but if I don't get to every one of them, charge it to my mind, not my heart. I want to say this, or ask the question and put the question out there. Is anybody familiar with the Great Society? Heard about it? Familiar with the Great Society? Okay. So the Great Society, and it may have been under a different terminology back then, but it was when powers that be, I'm not going to say that particular word on air, but it was when the powers that be back in, earlier times, like in the 60s, late 60s and the 70s and what have you, or maybe even in the 80s, a black woman who had kids and lived with a man, and they were struggling. The powers that be could come in and provide assistance to the woman and her children. And what I mean by assistance, of course, I'm talking about different means like food, clothing, those type of things, right? But in order to get that assistance, one person had to be removed from the household. And that was the black man.
Absolutely.
Black father, the black husband. He had to be removed from the household in order for that woman with the kids to receive a check.
To this day.
That's based on a true story. That actually happened. So fast forward now to the images that we see on social media and the YouTubers and the content creators with the back and forth of black men and black women. It just shows you that things are still the same today as it was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but it's in a digital form. And the sad thing is, a lot of times we're doing it to ourselves. Ooh. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. Now we get into the conversation of mental health, mental illness, and everything that comes along with it.
What was the last thing you said?
To throw that out there.
What was the last thing you just said? We're doing it to ourselves.
Say that one more time, Randy.
I didn't hear the last thing you said. You said, but we're doing it to ourselves. What was that last part?
We're doing it to right.
Oh, okay.
We're doing it to ourselves, and in the space of what we put out there. Like, let me show people again what is happening, and also we're speculating. We're just speculating. It's alleged. It's alleged.
Alleged, exactly.
It could be somebody of color. It could be somebody of color that's putting this type of imagery out there. Either that or AI is doing a hell of a job. So There you go. That's the point I wanted to make. But I'm gonna let Randy have the last word as we get ready to close out this important episode of Therapy Ain't No Joke. This is the first show in a while that we received the most comments and the most views. By the way, I just want to throw that out there. And it definitely needed, because we of course needed a woman's voice on here, and I appreciate you, Randy, for sticking around and speaking on behalf of the women, or just from your POV, from your
Because I'm definitely not.
We're gonna let you.
Yeah, I'm not all women for sure, but I am a woman. I definitely feel that if anybody needs help in the mental area, they should seek it, because it's vital, or at least reach out to a friend, someone who can encourage you and build you up. I just loved when he did that. It actually, it just hit my soul how important it is for the Black woman, instead of tearing the Black male down, to build them up. And it's the same. The Black male should be building the woman up. It's critical that we create our own village, and we all need support. And I'm going to go back to the Bible, and in the beginning, as you said, the word is so important. But in the beginning, what was created first? The word. God spoke the world into existence. He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So the word is critical. And then also going back to the Bible, the man was created first, and he didn't want man to be alone. So he created woman. That's why we're called woman. And we're the helpmeet. We're here to help the male. So again, I agree, but I don't want that lady to take it the wrong way. Don't meet some little dude off the street and he's married, and married people have to make it work either way. So I just think that as long as you keep on doing things like this and bring awareness, and people are seeing all sides of the coin, and then they're taking it back to their children, that we're going to be okay as a community, because these things are needed.
There you go. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been tonight's show. Therapy Ain't No Joke. And today's topic, and I'm going to post this again here. Today's topic is social media and the internet dividing Black men and Black women. But even though this is towards the end of the show, you can still comment in the chat. YouTube at Reach One Network, like, share, and subscribe. Even on my Facebook page at Sean Garvey. And like I said, this is going to be a replay on Honey, the Flow Television Network, and all of its affiliates. It may not get to Honey tonight at exactly 10 p.m., but it will be up either at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or next Wednesday between 7 to 9 p.m. During Therapy at Night on Honey, which you can download the app, by the way, on your Roku TV. So in parting, any last words? Randy, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. We actually were supposed to have more women come on the show, but you definitely represented. You definitely represented for sure. So,
yeah.
Any last remarks? Yeah.
Anytime. I mean, anytime you want, and I'm available, I'll be more than happy. I'm excited about the topic. I think it needs to be a topic that needs to be discussed more, so we can understand the harm that we could be doing, or or is being done to us as a community. So at least, knowledge is power. And once we understand, we can do better. Once we know better, we can do better. So I'm excited about the topic. And again, if anybody is needing help, please seek it in any means possible, because it can get hard all being isolated.
And let me say this to reply to what you just said. These conversations need to be had. You're not going to get these conversations on no other broadcast, on no other show. You're not. This is the only show that you're going to have these type of conversations. So I implore you, Randy, to tell your family members, to tell your girlfriends, to tell your friends, whoever, to tune in to Therapy Ain't No Joke offline. I'll give you all the links and information so you can share with your followers and your community. But you're not going to get this kind of content. We're the first. These are the conversations that need to be had. And I appreciate the Facebook users that said or echoed the same thing that you said, Randy. So we really appreciate it. Rasta, as always, thank you so much for your insight, for your 2 cents and everything. Parting words from you, Rasta.
The importance of a stable mental health in the household is extremely important. I just want to take this moment, since there's a woman on the show and we're talking about Black men and women, I want to take this moment to shout out my wife. By the grace of the Most High, I would not be the man that I am now if it wasn't for her. She's amazing. She's my all. She's my everything. Even when I mess up, she still loves me, and she's still thugging for me and with me. So I just wanted to take that time on air, on live, on stream, let the whole world know I love my baby and she loved me. And it's because of her, a melanated woman, a goddess, a whole goddess out here that molded the greatness inside of a God to be shown. And that ain't no joke.
Absolutely. That ain't no joke. Definitely not a joke at all. All right, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Rasta, as always, Randy for coming on as our special guest. Also, big shout out to Ray Melody for providing us this music bed that you are hearing in the background, courtesy of Ray Melody. And at the end, we do this at the end of every show, Randy, and for our viewers out there, because we're not just a show about talking about the issues and things that are happening in our community from a mental health perspective, but we all about solutions and information. So if you or someone you know is facing some type of crisis, please dial the Crisis and Suicide Lifeline 988, the opposite from 911. Don't dial 911 unless you are in a life or death emergency, but please dial the 3-digit number 988 if you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis. We have operators standing by 24/7, 365 days a year if you need to speak to somebody in real time. And also, you can contact the National Alliance for Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI. That's 1-800-950-6264. You can even send them an email to info@nami.org. Their operational hours are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you can't get anybody on the phone during those hours, you can dial the 988. Please, everybody, go get help. Don't use no excuses saying, well, I can't get anybody on the phone this time of night, da-da-da-da. No, dial that number, 988. All right, you should have already saved it in your phone by now. But if you haven't, please save it in your phone, 988. All right, so we're going to leave that up there for a few moments. And thank you all again. Tune in to Therapy Ain't No Joke every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Check your local listings. And we will be back next Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. on this channel and all of its affiliates. Take care and have a great evening. Take care and your mental health.